Hello, everybody, all the beautiful people that are tuning and watching this. I am so grateful for you. My name is Jack Hayes. This is week 30, day 207 that we're shooting this. And yeah, today's really, an internal pod today. Obviously, you don't see any guests around me, so I'm back in my hometown for the next couple months, just really dialing in and taking a breather from the hustle and bustle that is Fort Lauderdale and the amazing people I do have down there. I think it's important to separate yourself sometimes, especially when you need it. I spent a good part of the last 4 years there, pretty much nonstop, and building what I've ultimately been able to build. And I was just, I think it's good to go back to your roots. Good to tune in. I find myself a lot more grounded when I'm home, and I haven't taken, I haven't spent more than a month in my hometown like consistently in the last 4 years, aside from maybe Christmas. So I'm really excited for this kind of upcoming phase of life, these next 3 to 4 months before ultimately potentially moving back down there. So yeah, today's kind of internal pod. I want to get the audience to know me a little bit better, start doing these a little bit more consistently. Obviously I love guests, but I think it's one thing I've lacked, and that I realized if I'm really going to do this content thing long term, if I'm really going to have this podcast long term, the audience should get to know me better, get to know my insight. What are the things I'm thinking about? What are the things I'm working on? What are the things I'm doing? So recently, I launched a LinkedIn blog, and just kind of want to review the LinkedIn blog today, then talk about couple ideas I had this past week. That's everything from cheap dopamine, the real war we all face. I'm going to get into how you can eliminate certain things from your content consumption that will maximize your productivity. Just kind of starting with the previous LinkedIn blog. So I started a LinkedIn blog called The Weekly Profit. Believe it or not, I think the name just tied in. As you know, I've been doing a lot of work in the client acquisition space through LinkedIn. I saw this opportunity. I was like, oh, this could be cool. So pure, day one person not really knowing what they're doing, I logged into LinkedIn, called the newsletter The Weekly Profit, and just the first one I typed about, an area of my expertise, which is search engine optimization, and like overall, good marketing tactics. And then the next week I just wrote something that I had written in my journal, because I journal just about every day, and it was a topic I got really deep on with myself, so I figured it'd be a cool idea to showcase that to the world. Blessed to announce, in two weeks since having it, we've hit 450 subscribers to the blog, to the newsletter, so that's insane and amazing, and it shows the power of applying your creativity to what are commonly untapped markets. You don't see everyone every day. They're launching their own website to do a blog. They're doing this. They're running email campaigns. LinkedIn, it's like you launch a LinkedIn blog. Every time you release one, it goes to everyone who subscribes to that and your connections. It's going to their email inbox anyway. So a little trick there. But the previous LinkedIn blog, I talked about how this generation, and I'm talking about Gen Z, so all of you guys, born 1995 and after, really the 2000s audience is what that one really ties into. I myself was born in 2000. I talked about how it is single-handedly the most powerful generation. And what do I mean by that? If you think about how the world has just, innovation has sped up. The world has sped up since the 1970s. The amount we're able to, the types of technology advances we used to see take 30 years to come to life are happening in 10 years time now, in 5 years time now, with AI almost instantly. And that really set a trigger for me when I was thinking about being born in 2000. And then in 2007, 7 years old, the iPhone's released. It's kind of this new technology. Smartphones becoming a thing, and we weren't really conscious of what these devices could do yet. We probably just played with them. For me personally, I just played with them off like my cousins that had them and my older siblings, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. 2007, the iPhone is born. 2014, we got to see, we're entering high school, and now social media is starting to become more mainstream. Social media is like, oh, this new thing, you can share your life, and people can take insights, and like now there's this new access to share who we are with the rest of the world. But it's still 2014, still 14 years old, freshman in high school. By the time we're 18, not only is social media just everywhere all the time, but it's become mainstream for people to actually make money from it. So yes, I know people are making money on YouTube in the early days. Shout out to those guys. But come 2018, it was like, wow, like it was mainstream to be making money through Instagram, through TikTok, through Facebook, whatever the thing was. And now, when you're a senior in high school, you're a little more conscious. It's like we've been using these things for 4 years, and now there's this opportunity to potentially make money off of it. And now you flash forward 4 years after that, 2022, most of the people listening to this, you likely just graduated college or you're in college. And as soon as we graduate, most people are always like, oh, there's lost, you gotta find all these answers, the world is this big, mysterious place. AI is introduced. AI is introduced in the sense that it's mainstream. AI has always existed. If you think about how long you've had your Alexa, your Google Home, or Siri as a perfect example is one of those that like we've always had AI around. I don't know why it took a chatbot to like make it seem like it's this big new thing that everyone's got to kind of learn. But reality is that happened in 2023, 2022, right? You just graduated college. Now there's this big tool in AI that we've been able to observe once again, and it's hitting the market, and people are using it to grow their businesses, to start businesses, to find really any answer they've ever needed is like all on this one website that's turned into multiple websites that turned into apps to help you with specific things, whether it's video editing, whether it's marketing, whether it's research on a topic. Like you can write full-fledged research papers with this thing. I'm not saying do that, don't go cheat all your professors, but if you want to get detailed insights about a topic from a specific point of view, that's what AI can do. It can accumulate all this data, and like if you want to hear the perspective on the Civil War from somebody that was in it, you can have it kind of produce what something like that would look like. And like it can just really start to spark your interest and really broaden our ability to interpret and receive knowledge. So I think that's, if you want to check out the blog, please, I'll put the link in the description of this. But that was really the gist of that blog, was just about how we really are one of the most powerful generations. We have the most experience with the newest innovations at the youngest age. So we have the most time to accumulate the most knowledge about the newest technologies than anyone else. If you think about your parents, maybe they're 40, 50 years old, they went 30 years without iPhones. They went 30 years without being able to share their opinions with the rest of the world in a mainstream way, provide value to people, provide value to the rest of the world in a mainstream way. Before, it was like if you were this knowledgeable person, you had to get on a speaking panel, you had to go give a talk, you had to be a higher up at some crazy executive business corporation, and then they said, oh, this person knows what they're talking about, or you had to go on TV. Like, it's not the case anymore. Now you can pull up your, like I do, Instagram Live, go to practice mode to get a camera, like a decent camera on your iPhone, and then just record and talk about your experience, your life experience. This is all, my podcast this is what I do, talking about my journey as an entrepreneur, talking about other people's journeys as an entrepreneur, because it helps those that are in day one, phase one, whatever it is. It's like you can now get a real account from someone who's in the midst of the process. And I think that's just so beneficial, because even when I think back to my 17-year-old self, I wasn't even consuming that much content, and I probably could have learned tons and tons of stuff on YouTube, on whatever it was, due to this new world we kind of live in. So I thought that was super interesting. And then just kind of on that topic, I want to talk about some things I noticed that relate to that in the last week or so. Flying cars were announced. So I've always been so curious about this. Anyone who's ever predicted the future has mentioned that we might have flying cars. And now, due to the advances in technology, it only makes sense that this would start to come to fruition a lot faster. So the flying cars I'm talking about, because I know there's always these like scammy pictures and whatnot on the internet, but this one I actually researched pretty good. It's a company called Aleph Aeronautics. It was invented by a California-based automaker, and it's backed by SpaceX. So being backed by SpaceX, they actually received special approval from the FAA for a flight worthiness certificate, which means that they're able to actually build these and test them in open air spaces and make sure they are functional for mass human exposure. So a few details about the flying car. It seems pretty cool. It's only 2 seats. It has a road range of 200 miles and a flight range of 110 miles. So I'm curious to kind of see the capabilities that come of that. Now they're able to grow from there. If you do want to get on the wait list now, I was researching it myself. The whole car itself, it looks like it's going to cost about $350,000, which, I mean, if you're buying a borderline miniature plane, I guess that's not too bad. But you can get on the wait list right now for I saw it anywhere from $500 to $1,500 for priority access, and they are scheduled to start releasing in 2025. So that is important to me for a few reasons. Obviously, a lot of people watching this probably aren't just going to get ready and go buy a flying car. But when you think about the investment opportunities in that, when you think about the technology behind what it takes to produce a car like that, and you see how much technology is advanced from just the basic car, engine, wheels, get the ball rolling, get you from point A to point B. Now these things can fly. So as an entrepreneur, I like to look at this type of news and go into, okay, who are the companies behind it? So who is this California automaker? Why is it backed by SpaceX? What are things I could be potentially investing in if you have the free capital in this new technology? It's potentially releasing in 2025. So, we talk about the 5 to 10 year game all the time. Not a bad place to, risk some money there. Because obviously once this becomes mainstreamed, what do you think is going to be the most powerful, most bought technology? It's going to be the thing that stands out, the thing that gets the most done. The fact that you can fly from point A to point B from your driveway and get places a lot faster. If it makes life easier, I've always been one to invest in it. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Just kind of switching gears now. I know this podcast pretty tied together, but I wanted to cover a few different things. The real thing I want to talk about today is the real war we're all facing. Probably the main reason you haven't started that business you can't stop dreaming about or talking about. Probably the main reason that you've feel like you've done a ton and you're probably looking at your business and being like, why am I not at 10K a month yet? And it's probably the main reason, if you have any sort of analysis paralysis, that it's probably the main reason that analysis paralysis exists. And what I mean by that, analysis paralysis is when you have information overload and your action does not even come close to what you're consuming. And there's a few reasons why that happens. So the reason analysis paralysis tends to happen is because due to the social platforms, if you're somebody who uses Instagram every day, TikTok every day, Twitter every day, you're constantly seeing not only the lives of other people that probably, unless you've done a social media audit, don't actually advance your life in any way, and you're receiving, if you are watching quality content around topics that you're interested in, you're probably watching 10, 20, 30 different people. It's like the same selling point in why people should create content is also the same reason a lot of people don't create content. So the reason why a lot of people should create content is because there's 99% of the population is willing to watch 10 different podcasts and 100 different clips from 100 different entrepreneurs doing 100 different things. That's just reality. It's not healthy for the doers. So I talk about consumption versus creation. So if you want to be more of a creator than a consumer, if you want to see success on these platforms. And we're going to break down kind of how you can get into that, how you can do it, easy ways to just start doing a basic social media audit and actually start learning valuable skills that will advance your life. At the end of the day, it is, like we talked about earlier, one of the most powerful tools we've all had access to for, over the course of 5-10 years to this point. And it's just mind-boggling to me that, a lot of people, including myself, don't have the right tools on how to utilize it the right way. So the main thing, it's the real war we all face, the real battle we all face, analysis paralysis, right? Cheap dopamine, scrolling, it becomes the place of having easy access to things that will actually trick our brain into thinking we are already there, to thinking we already have this success, because we think our brain registers the knowledge we have and the thoughts we have as our reality. So if you're taking in all of this knowledge about how to be one of the best, have one of the best short form content agencies in the world, let's put it that way, one of the best social media marketing agencies in the world, all you do is consume Iman. Well, that's going to trigger in your head, and you are going to think like that. But if you don't take action on that, it's just like everyone who's sitting here watching this hitting their vape. It's a 5-second up, and it is a bigger come down, and you're just going to go right back to it. You're going to go get that cheap dopamine, feel like you've done something for the day, feel like you have all this knowledge and you know the thing, and like you can talk about it with people because you've just consumed it so much, and you can convince them to thinking you know everything about this topic. But the real knowledge comes from actually doing it. The real learning experience comes from actually doing it. Don't lose that side to you. And I know there's a lot of risk takers out there. If you're like me, just because somebody tells me something's going to end up in a certain way, or like if I take this action I'll get this result, I cannot just take their word for it. I get into a lot of discussions and borderline conflicts about this, where it's like somebody's just so convinced, they want to be so convincing about their opinion and what I should do and whatnot. And I'm always like, if I haven't done it, I can't 100% agree with you, because I know there's 100 different ways and a million different ways to do a million different things. So it comes down to who you are and actually experiencing those things, and then taking the lessons you've learned with the things they've said and just kind of creating your own perspective on it. If these are people you trust and value, I think it's great advice to obviously take it in. Those are the people you should be taking it in from the first place, but don't just take what they say as word of God, right? Don't take it don't cause it to force you to not take action on something that you're passionate about or that you're really curious about. Embrace your curiosity. I've always been good about embracing my curiosity. No matter what, it could have a very high risk factor, but if I think I can do it, I'm going all in, I'm trying to do it. So the cheap dopamine, the scrolling, and the easy access to these things that put us in places and think we're living lives that we're really not is the main source of this analysis paralysis. It causes something that I consider bad delusion. So I think there's good delusion. I think you should think big. I think you should talk big. I think you should, if those are things you're doing and you're passionate about, you should say that, you should have a goal to make, $1 million this year and get to 10K a month, even if you're at zero. Because if you don't have that thought, you really won't get there. But just consuming a bunch of people that have done it and that are giving you 10 different pieces of advice on how to do it, you're going to do 10 different things and they're not going to be in alignment and you're not going to get there. Take it from me, guys. I'm telling you, it's a pretty personal story and something I was talking about the other day with people I cared about, where it's I think I put in a lot of work the last 12 months. And I'm not necessarily where I set out to be, my expectation, that comes on, and that's a whole nother topic. But I was thinking about what are the things, I've improved a lot, I've improved my skill set in this area, and I've done really great things, but I'm still not necessarily where I want to be. And you can do a simple check, even looking at your screen time. What was the screen time like those last 12 months? If I was pressing 7-8 hours a day, I can assure you I was doing a lot more consuming than I was creating, and I wasn't even realizing it, because of the triggers in the brain, because of the dopamine every day, because of feeling because I had the knowledge I would eventually be able to take the action. Instead, I should have been more apt to go through the skills that we're going to talk about here at the end of this, of focusing on a few people, focusing on one skill set, and giving myself 30, 60, 90 days to just do that and just consume that. And then that way I don't have time, because I made this decision that I'm not going to consume anything else, to consume anything else. So then I apply it, and then I've seen more action taking it that route. So a good example, I talk about this all the time. If you like, a good example is when it comes to the skill set is sales. Okay, you want to learn sales. Maybe you're in an appointment setting role. If you're not in one, please DM me. I will get you one. I think it's one of the most valuable skills that takes, an hour a day of your time to really get good at. But anyway, let's say you're in sales. You want to start as an appointment setter. You want to eventually become a closer. Social media is a great tool to use this. The first thing you're going to do to use social media to get good at sales is you're going to go through your current followings and people you follow, and if they are not in that realm of either doing sales, practicing to do sales, and I call this, people that you see on your level, on the way to your level, or above your level, if those three categories, if those people are not focused on sales, which is the skill set that you want to focus on, mute everyone else. Okay? You can go into Snapchat. There's people, like I talk about Snapchat because I know that's what a lot of people are communicating on, and when you're texting someone, you also want to read 1,000 different stories. That's information overload. Mute all of those people, because I guarantee nobody on your Snapchat, unless I'm on there or some of my networks on there, they are not doing sales. They are not building businesses. They are posting that they're at dinner on a beach you've seen 1,000 different times. They are posting old memories of their college days, getting hammered in a dorm room. They are posting for frat parties. They are not posting anything that's relevant to your mindset, and you need to eliminate that. So you don't need to unadd these people if you have relationships with them. I'm not saying kill the connection. Connection's like one of the most important things we have. But you can put their story on Do Not Disturb. You can mute them. Same thing on Instagram. If you just go to someone's Instagram bio and you click the three dots in the corner, you can look at go through your stories on Instagram right after you watch this and see how many stories don't actually inspire you or are relevant to the skill that you're focused on trying to learn right now. And just click the three dots in the corner, mute the stories, mute their posts, and then replace those people. So elimination and replacement. Eliminate those people and replace them with good sales guys. Jeremy Miner, one of the best ones out there. I just got put on to Jeremy Miner as somebody who's up and coming in the world of sales. He offers a 7-figure sales rep course that costs anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000, but he also puts out all of his course content on the internet for free. So if you are just following Jeremy Miner, and you go to his page and you see all the shorts, if you're somebody who likes that short, quick, snack size information, they have titles of what he's going to teach you in that short and like an insight you may not have seen. And I spend about 30 minutes to an hour a day. Yes, I'm on Instagram. Yes, I'm still using social media, but that's all I'm consuming. All my brain is registering is better ways to be a better sales rep. Okay? And then you can go to Jeremy Miner's YouTube and do the same thing. You're probably subscribed to 100 people. Not saying YouTube's a little easier. You don't have to just click through the stories all the time. But every time you log into YouTube for the next 30 days, type in Jeremy Miner and watch a couple videos a day. He has 14 to 15 minute sessions, and watch those videos, take notes on those videos, and then go into your new sales role and apply those skills. Talk to the people on your sales team. Hey, I was just watching this Jeremy Miner video. He's talking about how to handle objections properly, or how to handle price objections, or how to stop people from closing the door in your face. And provide that value to them, because it's so much helpful to them, and you're creating such a positive impact with the people you're around. And that's using this platform, that's using everything to your advantage. Okay? So I always say, focus on one skill at a time, eliminate everyone that's not on your level, on the way to your level, or above your level in that niche, and this is just for 30 to 60 days, whatever you want to take, and then pick 1 to 3 people that you truly resonate with that teach along the similar lines. I would say Jeremy Miner and Alex Hormozi, they kind of go hand in hand. So you see Hormozi everywhere, but a lot of the sales skills they talk about are very applicable to everything we do. And that's because when I look into these guys' message, their whole thing is providing as much expert advice as they can for free. That is their entire business model. Hand it all out, and then the people that really want to take action, that really want to get on one-on-one mentorship, can invest in these people's time to get that hold your hand, take you through the process. You don't need that right away. You can build to a place where you can make 5 to 10K extra a month just by consuming just those people. But if you don't pick 1 to 3 people that you truly resonate with, and you don't unfollow and stop consuming everyone else, and if you can eliminate the explore page, just go directly to these people's profiles, and you do that for 30 to 60, 90 days, I guarantee you'll be levels ahead, and you'll be so much more focused on what these people are actually trying to teach you, and your brain will be finding ways to apply these things. The universe, I'm a big spiritual guy, I don't talk about that much, but the universe will start to bring these things into your life, because those are the only thoughts that are going through your head. It's not the thoughts of the person that used to date 4 years ago, and them with their new boyfriend, or them with their family, and all these other, like, these old college friends, these old high school friends. You're no longer registering that in your brain. That is not a part of where you're going. That is not a part of where you're at, and those people are not on the way to your level. They're never even going to reach your level. So eliminate those things. Focus on one skill, 1 to 3 people you truly resonate with, and do it for 30 to 60 to 90 days. And that should be how you use social media, if you're serious about taking that skill set to the next level. And I know I mentioned sales, that's just where I'm directly involved with, but video editing. I think if you have any creative, if you're an artist and you want to learn how to kind of really start to make money in the digital space, start an online business, it's like, if you're a good video editor, I just think content and video creation, I talked about this in another LinkedIn post of mine, is the next $1 billion industry. You think about how many more people just by watching this will start going and creating content after watching this episode, after watching a few other episodes from other people that talk about the power of social media and how it's helped build their brand. These people, myself included, need someone to be able to record a lot of the time. They need somebody to be able to, for me, I need somebody to travel around with me and shoot podcasts in different cities once a month next year. I need somebody to be able to follow me around with the camera and do a day in my life, because it is difficult to do it yourself. And if you don't know how to video edit, but you're really good at the business side, your business is just missing out on, we talk about opportunity cost, like your business is missing out on that much revenue just because you don't have the skill set to make the business better. So go find that person, and if you are that person, start reaching out to people and start telling them, hey, I can edit your videos. Hey, if you need somebody to come shoot, I say if you're in a big city, there's DJs everywhere, and they love having their picture taken, and everyone in that club wants their picture taken. So you want to grow your video editing brand, take it from me. I did it myself. I started to learn the tips of the trade. I still need to focus on the actual editing side of things myself, but I picked up a camera, went and shot a DJ a couple times for free, and had so many opportunities after that just from people I met because they liked the pictures I was taking and the videos I was taking. So video editing, sales, any skill that you really want to learn. Again, I know I've said it, I sound like a broken record. Please eliminate those that are not in that skill set, and just watch how much less content you consume, how much clearer you start to think, and how much action you start to take. And just give yourself that 30 to 60 days, please. Because I'm telling you, if you do it consistently, daily, and you set a plan to do that and apply it, you'll have so many opportunities that you won't have time to go consume the stuff that doesn't benefit you anymore. And just to kind of cap off this episode, in relation to the whole social media thing, and why I think elimination is such a key part, and why I think those people that aren't on your level, at your level, or above it, like on the way to your level, at your level or above it, is because reality is, guys, not everyone wants you to win. So this last topic is about dropping the dead weight. Okay, if you think about the people in your life right now, and I want everyone to kind of do this, take a minute. Think about the people in your life that you're closest to, that you maybe talk to the most. And this might be pretty painful for some people. Think about how they last made you feel. Think about if they made you feel like a winner. Think about if they tried to put you down. Think about the last time you were put down by somebody you were pretty close to, and you're like, oh, why do they seem like that? And if there's negative emotions that these people cause, take a break. Eliminate. Say, you know what, I'm focused on my goals and where I want to go. And I know I have that desire and that self-belief that I know I can get there. And these people do not make me feel like a winner. They may not even do negative things directly to you, but the way they conduct themselves, maybe they are people that don't like to go to the gym and don't like to like better their health. Maybe they're people that just spend, every night after work just getting high, watching football and playing video games. Like, if they're participating in bad habits, your social environment is your a great measure of your success. So eliminate those people. Temporary. You can eliminate them temporarily and just open your mind to be able to receive the people that are focused on the things you want to focus on. Because when you look back in 90 days, yeah, you're probably not hanging out with those people, but your life's probably not that lonely. You're probably, from my experience, getting on Zoom calls with winners constantly. You're probably, going to networking events because you're not thinking about these deadweight people that have no interest in seeing you win. At the end of the day, we're all focused on our own shit. Everyone can like this podcast, but at the end of the day, they're still gonna, I don't take sponsorships. I don't ask for any sort of recognition for it, because I know everyone's focused on their own shit. So if I can just provide tips that have helped me, and maybe somebody can relate to me, somebody who's okay just sitting in front of a camera with the same flannel he wears every day and a basic watch and talk about my thoughts and my experience, that's pretty cool. And those are that's awesome. That's positive reinforcement in the brain. So drop the dead weight. Reality is not everyone wants you to win. Pay attention to those who bring you down. You can really tailor your social media to include this. So the same thing we talked about, you want people focusing on a skill set is great, and then focusing on the types of people that you actually want to follow, that are living the lives that you actually want to live, that you maybe connect with on a deeper level. And you can keep those people around and keep those things on, but everyone who's not, again, unfollow, frankly. But if you don't want to unfollow, I totally get that. Mute them. Just mute them. You don't need to see their life every day. If they want to actually, this will cause something that's super powerful. If they want to talk to you, they will text you, okay? If you're not close enough to me to have my phone number, reality is I'm not going to take 90% of what you say and just go apply it and take it as truth. But those who have my phone number, who are checking in on me, who are making sure I get home okay, who are making sure, I was just traveling, just went back down to South Florida to literally move out of my apartment. And the hardest thing about me leaving there is I felt like I was around, 5 or 6 people that, while we're on different paths and doing different careers, we'd all been through that experience together, and I knew these people really gave a shit about me. And they always were asking, hey, how's the business going? What are you up to these days? How can we, they always made me feel good about it. Told me I motivated them, told me I brought people together. And then what do you know? These people, within being gone 24 hours, texted me, hey, just want to make sure you got back okay. Those are, when I say pay attention, those are things that make me feel good. Those show that, there's that common, love there of, these people want to be around for a long term. And those that don't, acknowledge that and be like, you know what, so what? It doesn't matter. Be strong enough to force them to realize what they're losing. And I think you'll just see so much more positive relationships, so much more motivating relationships in your life. And yeah, I think that's a great way to end this. I mean, one last note I'd like to say, we talked about, good delusion versus bad delusion. Yes, if you see Instagram and places you want to be and videos on that, and you use it as a way to manifest, go on Pinterest. Use Pinterest. As cliche as it sounds, Pinterest is the Instagram algorithm, showing you things that you're thinking about, that you're searching about, your big dreams, your big goals, without all the commentary. It is a picture on a beach in Malibu that, for me, I literally used that and manifested my podcast with Arlen. Just so happened that, I'm glad I'm kind of going on this tangent, I've been looking at Pinterest for the last 90 days. I was like, man, California just seems so cool. I'd love to have a reason to go out there. I just want to feel a different experience than what I'm feeling here in Florida. And what do you know? An opportunity pops up. He posts on his Instagram, hey, I'm taking podcast requests. Send me an email, what we would talk about. My manager will get back to you, and we'll try to set it up. And sure enough, sent an email. About a week later, got a message back, hey, we'd love to have you. Flew out there. All of a sudden, that picture I'd just been looking at on Pinterest for the last 90 days was like reality. And it was like, whoa, like I've seen this before. I've been here. And so Pinterest is a great way to manifest. But anyway, I hope this was a good internal pod. 20, 30 minutes, probably went a little longer than most people expected. But I'm glad, stay tuned to the LinkedIn blog. I think if you're not using LinkedIn to advance your professional career, no matter what you're doing, it's a great way. I mean, it's literally your digital. We talk about Instagram being your digital resume. LinkedIn's literally your digital resume because you can put your resume on there if you really want to, and you can talk about, you can get in the room with key decision makers at major companies versus calling their office trying to get an opportunity, connect with them on LinkedIn, have a good looking bio that showcases what you're good at and the experience you've had, and then text them right away and just say, hey, love what you're doing, would love to see if there's any opportunities for me to learn more, would love to see if you're hiring salespeople, would love to, and just start that conversation with that C-level executive through LinkedIn after you read the blog, after you subscribe to the blog. And if you see this on YouTube, Instagram, whatever, please like, subscribe. It's how we keep this thing going. And yeah, have a great rest of your week.